Good morning, good people. We thank you. We meet once again at Triumphant College, the first year in psychology. Yes. So we want to discuss. My name is Stanley, Mr. Stanley Mapanda. I'm going to take you for cognitive and social psychology in your level 4. So at the current moment, we want to do the introductory part to cognitive psychology and some of the things like what is its purpose and also what does it serve. So cognitive psychology, before we get into detail, there's some few things that we just want to share about the course contents and also other things that are expected. So cognitive psychology, its main aim, is to give the foundation of analysis upon reasoning, including decision making, some other mental processes, information processing, as well as internal and external influences that influence our mental processes. So there will be a 3 hour lecture, 2 hour, and then 1 hour for tutorials. So embrace for discussions. And then the assessment, it's more like one assignment and then 2 tests per semester. And then most of our modules, especially psychology, are yearly modules. So which means that this semester we are going to have one assignment and 2 tests. And these ones are going to contribute like 40% of your CA marks. Yes, and 60% is coming from the exam, and you will know to write the exam if you are below 40% in terms of average. And also classes are a must to attend. It's a must. Okay, and also looking at the contents, going to look at the introductory part and also what are cognitive processes, the historical background, some methods which are used by psychologists in cognitive psychology, as well as other concepts that may arise inside. And then we go for perception, which we will look at sensation and perception, some certain theoretical models and principles that guide, as well as perceptual learning. And then we look at memory as a basic cognitive structure or process, the researches, the models, going to eyewitness and further. And then we also look at forgetting, what causes forgetting, what causes memory distortions, and we evaluate that and we look into much of the theories or models and also researches which are current and modern, which try to explain. Now, looking at the introductory part. So cognitive psychology as it is defined is the study of how people, they perceive, they learn, they remember, and think about information. It's mainly about the study of those mental processes. Yes, and such kind of mental processes start from memory, as well as we look at attention, check as well as language, decision making, even reading and problem solving. These are all mental processes that roam around in our minds. Some of the things that we go through on. And problem solving, something that is not that too technical, or even having a problem that you're having at home, like arranging things at home, isn't it? So that solving that problem, or trying to cook, solving that problem, isn't it? The way how we think, and also the way we end up to making a certain decision, even like buying a car, buying a chair, or whatever. So looking at some of the ideas or some of the concepts that also try to explain the beginning or some of the concepts that are about cognitive psychology, like philosophical roots, in which we try to explain from empiricists and rationalists. The rationalists are more of logical and reasoning is the key, what they call we were born with knowledge already. So like an inborn thing, isn't it? Yes, then the empiricist, so the rationalists, some they call them the nativists. Then comes the empiricist, the experientialist, and so on. This the experience and observation is the key. For them, they say we were born tabula rasa, which means we were born a blank slate. So coming back to rationalists, they mention about the cogito ergo sum, which means I think, therefore I am, which try to explain the concept of like logic and reasoning is the key to life. But then empiricists, they believe in experience, observation, and learning, that a person is not born with knowledge. And then it goes back to Aristotle and and Plato. Yes. So rationalists, some of the rationalists were René Descartes as well as John Locke as an empiricist. Yes. And then comes what they call synthesis or some of the group or movement. which you have what we call it a both role. They also adopt from rationalism as well as empiricism. So this one, they help to form the concept about what? About cognitive psychology at large. This concept, they try to average what is cognitive psychology as well as to expand more in trying to make people understand what cognitive psychology as well, what does it influence. So if we look at these concepts which try to explain that cognitive psychology is more like the study of mental processes. If you see logic and reasoning, it's mental processes. Observation and experience, yes, even though it's behavioral to some extent, but also it comes back to mental processes. And these mental processes, there are quite a number of schools which try to look at what? At such mental processes. And they try to understand such mental processes and their functionality among human beings. So just to mention in brief, some of the schools of thoughts or what we call models of thinking or theoretical thinking in cognitive psychology, such as structuralism, and then comes the functionalism. And then the synthesis where it comes what they call associationism. And then comes behaviorism. And from behaviorism, then there's also less radical behaviorists, which were what they call cognitive behaviorists to some extent, which also understand the issue of cognition and then behavioral aspect. And cognition is referring to the cognitive, morely about what? Mental thinking. Some of the contributions to cognitive psychology that we may just look into and flex about from Yeb and Lashley, they emphasize how cognition could be explained by neuroscience. Chomsky reviews also Skinner's verbal behavior. These are some of the things which also happened or which influenced cognitive psychology. If you look at the development of computers and artificial intelligence, it also increased the ability for people to study more the brain since they want to make a replica. And then some developments of cognitive revolution, some interest in studying of mental processes, what they call cognition. Such contributions, they also influence the aspect of cognitive psychology. So this is the introductory part of coming into the institution. And then we'll encourage you to read more and to emphasize more, as well as from what is discussed in class, also go generate and also add more so that you keep up with the trend. Information is so vital and information is so dynamic. Yes, some of the cognitive methods that may have been used. So in the next lesson, we're going to look in detail at the introduction of what? The historical background of cognitive psychology, what sparked cognitive psychology to be where it is, what influenced cognitive psychology to emanate, and also the relationship that cognitive psychology has with other psychology dimensions or other psychology fields which are out there. So any questions that may be posted in the forum or in the group discussion chat?